So when you were a teenager, what is a regular day for you like? Like forcing yourself to get up, having some Pop Tarts, perhaps having a cup of coffee, and then complaining to the world about how everybody's out to get you. Rhett Barkau is not like that at all. In fact, he is, as a teenager, a national champion race car driver, and he did one heck of a job representing Dodge at the SCCA National Championship runoffs at Road America. And he's our guest today on the Dodge Garage Download. Hi, Rhett. What's going on?
Not much, just another day at the race shop.
Dude, not bad. That's a great looking. Can you show us around the shop real quick?
Let me flip the camera quick. So we got the hauler over there, of course, and then two big doors so we can pull it straight in. And then over there is scale pad. And then we come over here, it's a formula car shop, and over there is the old car. And
Nice.
then there's a dyno over there that's kind of put up right now.
Dude, that's an impressive race shop you've got there. That's all right. I got to
Yeah.
admit, I'm kind of a sucker for the old Formula cars. So, are those both Formula Enterprise cars, or is the green one something different? I didn't see real quick.
They're both Formula Enterprise cars.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Now, obviously, that is not why we're talking with you. The big orange Challenger next to you is why we've got you on this episode of Dodge Garage. And I'll tell you, the whole reason that I kind of even stumbled across you is because, I'm a road racer, used to be the lead instructor for the old SRT track experience program. And I'm watching the runoffs the other day. And here's this big orange Dodge Challenger tearing up through the course. I'm like, oh, I have got to talk to this guy. And then you did really, really well. So kind of give us the background. How did you get into racing in the first place? And why are you racing a Dodge Challenger?
So I started off when I was 11 at a little track in Broadhead, Wisconsin called Sugar River Raceway, and it's actually where Danica Patrick started. So we kind of have that in common. It's a really competitive track for what it is, and I raced there for 4.5 years, and I tested a late model on an oval track last fall, and I really liked the way they drive and having a bigger car and bigger motor. So then our race shop owner says to us, "How about the Trans Am series?" So then we look at it, look into it, and we're looking at it's either a Mustang, Camaro, or Challenger. And of course, we got to choose the Challenger because we have two Chrysler dealerships and we're as Mopar as it can get.
Outstanding.
So, and our plan was for this year was go run a lot of club stuff, get seat time, and figure out what we need so we can go run a full pro season next year. And we've currently ran one pro race at Road America, and that was cut short due to a big crash that I avoided somehow, some way. Uh, and we have two more races coming up, Coda and Road Atlanta.
And those will be in the Trans Am series in TA2. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right on. All right, man. Let's talk about this because I know a little bit about the TA cars, the TA2 cars, because Mark Miller, who ran last year, the last several years, is a good buddy of mine. He's been, guest on my shows and podcasts over the years, and we actually grew up racing together because I lived in West Michigan for a number of years. So he has shown us around the cars and talked about the difference between a street car Challenger and the TA2 car. But I want to ask you, what kind of a learning curve was it going from a super lightweight aero induced formula car to going into a big giant Trans Am Dodge Challenger?
It was a huge learning curve. And we first did a test day. I actually did two of them, Saturday, Sunday deal. And then basically we went out there, didn't quite know what we were doing up setup wise and so on and so forth. We kind of guessed at it. And the biggest thing is power down. You have to act like there's an eggshell underneath the pedal. And in the Formula car, you can mat it out of every single corner and absolutely have no problem with the rear end coming out. Where in this car, you slam that throttle down, your rear end's going sideways and you're probably going into the wall. Uh, but that was really the biggest thing. And a lot of the carousel and high speed turning stuff um, is where it's a lot different, where you kind of got to slow down, let off, let the car roll, and then gradually get back to power and just feel the tires working.
I mean, obviously, the Challenger has a great history already in drag racing. And there's always those people, and usually the Mustang and the Camaro guys go, man, that Challenger, she can't turn, man. That's just a straight line car, man. Clearly, you're proving us wrong on that.
Yeah, it's, believe it or not, there's a lot more grip than you would think because you're running 11-inch tires on this bad boy behind me. And that's a lot for only weighing 2,900 pounds.
Wait a minute, really? Seriously? Is that all that thing weighs? Holy
Yep.
cow. And so you've got now, if I remember my TA2 rules correctly, they actually restrict the engine in there. So you're what, about 500 horsepower? Is that right?
Right at 490.
Okay. Still, man. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I race small 4-cylinder road course cars that are 20. My car is 2,400 pounds and I've got 120 horsepower. So it's a little different ball game that you got there, man. Okay, so tell me about the paint job on the car. Clearly it's orange with a big 01 on there. We all know what that hints at.
Well, I've had an orange go-kart, and I always had an orange go-kart, and you see the Formula car I showed you, the orange one, that's my old one. And I started off with number 11, and then it was taken, and I couldn't use it in the Formula car, so I'm like, let's just get rid of one of the ones and add a 0 in there. So, of course, we're like, gotta stick with the orange and we gotta stick with the number and the Challenger. And our biggest thing with the orange is you go around the track, you have a black car, you have a gray car. They don't quite remember it, but that orange Challenger, everybody will remember that.
Tell me about that race. Let's kind of switch and talk about that particular race, because at the beginning of that race, there was a big incident that led to a really long yellow flag involving a Mustang and the Viper of Jonathan Start. And again, Jonathan's another buddy of mine. I've known him from racing and being in West Michigan, and the fact that he's in a Viper is great. And he took a big hit. What did you see from your angle when you were there? Because you would have been right behind him, right?
Yeah, I was right behind them. So they actually took my video to watch it to see what they were going to do to the guy in the Mustang, see if they were going to DQ him for the contact and so on and so forth. But the Mustang got loose into Jonathan and basically pushed him out into the wall, and it was one ugly crash.
I mean, it looked so bad. Again, I'm watching this live here at my house. And of course, again, Jonathan's a buddy of mine. So I see that and I'm shouting. And of course, the cats in the house are running all over the place. And my kid comes running in because he's playing video games. He's like, what happened? I'm like, Jonathan's in the wall. Oh, man. But the good news is he's okay. He did spend a night in the hospital, but he'll be okay. The car is in rough shape. It's in really, really bad shape for sure. Uh, but that's racing, and the good news for you is that got you a spot. And then tell me about the rest of the battle as you went through there, because it looks like the TA2 cars are playing very, very well in that GT2 class.
Yeah, so after that, we were running the Pirellis, which is a harder compound tire, and the two Mustangs were running Hoosiers, which is a lot softer compound, and we had a trouble getting the restart good because we couldn't get the heat into our tires like the guys with the Hoosiers because they're a lot stickier and softer. So we kind of figured the race would have gone green flag to checker flag the whole time. So we put the harder compound tire on just so we'd have the long run. And on that first start, we were running phenomenal. And we say the car was on rails. That's our saying. But if it would have went green to checkered, I think the ending would have been a little bit better.
That close to a podium at the runoffs in in GT2, man. It was a great run. So now let's talk about the car. It's right there behind you. I want you to show it around. So if you wouldn't mind, you flip the camera around and just kind of walk us around the car. Show us the finer points of your office.
So first, we run 11-inch Pirelli tires with Bassett wheels, and the chassis is a Howe chassis. They're one of the top chassis builders for the TA2 class. And we have our side dome exhaust over here. We go in on this side. We do have venting for the cockpit right here. And then down here was our drink holder where we'd normally put a drink for the 100-mile races. You know, get a little hot and sweaty, you need a sip of water. And then right here is our cool suit box. So we wear a shirt that keeps cool water running through us the whole time during the race. So normally that box is half filled with ice and half filled with water. There's not much else you can see. We have our camera over here. And then, of course, the motor's built by Prefix. We come around back, have the big wing so we can get some downforce on the road courses. And, of course, the Dodge logo and taillights. The iconic spin-off gas cap that's on every single Dodge. Come in here. We do have little half doors, so it's easier for us to get in, but it basically just pulls out like so. And we still do run the factory Dodge Challenger mirrors. And then in here, the steering wheel does lift off like so. And then right here, this is going to be our little dash. It's an AIM dash. It tells us anything we need to tell us and our data system for the car. We come over here on our flipboard. The first one is wipers. Second one is fog for when it's raining. And driver, which would be my cool suit and my vent tube for my helmet. And then we have 2 fuel pumps. So this would be our second one to turn on when we have 5 gallons left. And then ignition switch, of course, to start it. And then AIM would be the data system. And this came with the car, but I very like it a lot. The starter button above it says scare.
That is so cool, man.
And then, of course, our Andrews 4-speed shifter. And then our radio box that came with the car. All right, so underneath the hood, we're powered by a 6.2 Hemi built by Prefix. They changed quite a few parts in the motor to make it aluminum, so it's a lot lighter for us to run.
It's still based off of essentially stock architecture, though, right? They've worked their magic on it at Prefix, but I mean, that's still a kissing cousin to the Hemi that the guy in his Challenger on the street's going to have.
Yes, we still run a lot of the Mopar parts. Like, we just put new injectors in it this last week, and we ordered them straight from Mopar at our Chrysler dealership.
All right, flip that camera back around. We want to see you here. And before I let you go, I want to ask you, what's your take on NASCAR doing so many road races next year? They're up to, 6 different road races that are going to be running next year, including COTA, which you said you're going to later this year. I mean, are you setting yourself up to maybe look at a bigger picture down the line for yourself, maybe?
Yeah, I drive a late model every week at our local oval track, but I would definitely go into NASCAR if that's an option for me.
I'll tell you what, man, it's an impressive run that you put together. It's great that you're out there representing the brand. And we certainly have enjoyed chatting with you and taking a look around your office and seeing what you've got going on there in the race shop. If folks want to keep up with you, Rhett, how are we going to find you on social media?
So I have a Facebook page, Rhett Barkau Racing. You can like that and follow me on there for updates. And I normally have some shirts out there for sale. And then I also do have a website, rhettbarkau.com. And then my Instagram is rbarkau.
By the way, I noticed that you've got a Scat Pack Club decal on the back window over there. That's my buddy Bud. That's awesome.
Yeah, it came on the car. I actually didn't put that on, so I don't know if it's left from Mark or what.
Do you, so is this one of Mark's old cars?
It is the championship car from last year.
Oh, well, that makes a ton of sense then, of course. Holy cow, man. Oh, well, right on. Well, then I actually know that car even more than I realized I know that car. That's awesome. Well, good for you, my man. Congratulations on the great run at the runoffs and the best of luck in the future. We're going to be keeping an eye on you for sure. Rhett Barkau here on the Dodge Garage Download. Thanks, my man. Enjoy your day.
Yep, thank you, John.